Welcome to the Architecture Corner.
Glad to be here.
Today, we're jumping into something that, well, I think a lot of bigger organizations really grapple with. How do you actually scale your software architecture practice? Across maybe dozens, even hundreds of teams.
Yeah, it's a huge challenge, isn't it? You want consistency, quality,
Right.
but you just can't have an architect sitting with every single team.
Right, exactly. And finding or training enough architects, that takes serious time.
It really does. But there are ways, practical strategies to handle this without needing that army of architects. Clever ways, really.
Okay, good. Because we're drawing a lot today from some great thinking by Mario Bittencourt on, not just starting an architecture practice, but making it actually grow and thrive in a big company.
Yeah, his work offers some really solid foundations for this.
So our mission today is basically to unpack some of these strategies. How do you get that consistency and quality without creating huge bottlenecks? We're focusing on three key approaches.
And these are definitely designed for that real-world issue. Not enough architects, too little time to train new ones. How do you still guide things effectively? It's about leverage.
Okay, let's dive in then. The first strategy, it sounds like it tackles that distribution problem head on. A federated model.
Exactly. Think of it like a two-layer system. It's about spreading out the architectural thinking, not keeping it all locked up centrally.
Two layers. Okay, how does that work? What's the top layer?
So at the top, you've got the Technology Architecture Group, or TAG.
Tag it.
Typically, this would be, say, one architect representing each major business domain or technical area in the company.
And what's their main job? Are they approving every little design?
No, definitely not. Their focus is much higher level. They're looking at the big picture, the stuff with company-wide impact, things that really tie into the long-term vision.
Big picture. Like what specifically? Can you give an example?
Sure. The source mentions things like, well, deciding which main cloud provider the whole company will standardize on. That's massive.
Whoa, yeah.
Or maybe defining a company-wide disaster recovery strategy, fundamental stuff that affects everyone and needs that top-level agreement.
Okay, that makes sense. Tag handles the really big strategic pieces. So how does that strategy then trickle down or get, translated for the teams doing the actual work?
That's where the second layer comes in, the Domain Architecture Group, or DAG.
DAG. Okay, tag and DAG.
Right. So for each domain, you'd have a DAG. It would include at least one person from the tag kind of linking the layers, plus other senior folks from that domain, tech leads, staff engineers, people really embedded in the domain's work.
And what does the DAG do? Just pass messages down from the tag?
It's more than that. It definitely does that. It helps disseminate the practices and directions from the tag, make sure everyone in the domain is aware.
Okay.
But crucially, it's also a forum for domain-specific stuff, discussing projects happening within that domain, tackling challenges teams are facing right there.
So it's relevant to their day-to-day.
Exactly. And also sharing, the cool things teams are doing. Maybe a team found a neat solution or a useful pattern. The DAG is where they share that within the domain.
That sounds like a good way to spread knowledge faster.
It really is. The DAG acts as a sort of multiplier. Because everyone's from the same domain, the discussions are super relevant, more cohesive.
Right.
And importantly, it's not just top-down, it's bidirectional.
Oh, how so?
Well, if a team in a DAG comes up with something interesting, maybe a proposal for a new technology or a pattern that solves a common problem, and it's been reviewed within the DAG, that can flow up to the tag, especially if it might impact other domains or be useful more broadly.
I see. So the tag doesn't just dictate, it also listens to what's bubbling up from the domains.
Precisely. It creates this feedback loop. Tag sets the strategy, DAGs help implement it, and feed ground-level experience back up. This helps keep things aligned, but also practical and adaptable.
So for you listening, imagine this. Instead of one central group trying to oversee everything, you have this network. Strategic direction flows down, practical experience flows up. It helps leverage that scarce architect expertise much more widely.
It really breaks the bottleneck.
Okay, so that federation gives us the structure. Tags and DAGs. But what about the actual technology choices? How do you guide those consistently across maybe hundreds of teams? That seems like another scaling challenge.
Absolutely. And that brings us neatly to the second strategy, the technology radar.
The radar. I've seen versions of this. It's quite visual, right?
Very visual. It's basically a way to map out the tools, techniques, platforms, languages, frameworks, all the tech stuff your organization uses or is thinking about using.
Inspired by ThoughtWorks, I think.
Often, yes. But the key thing is you really need to create your own radar. It has to reflect your company's context, your strategy, how much risk you're comfortable with. Copying someone else's doesn't quite work.
Right, context is everything. So how does it actually guide decisions? Usually has those rings or quadrants, doesn't it?
Typically, yes. The most common approach uses 4 stages, or rings, for adoption. You've got hold, assess, trial, and adopt.
Okay, let's break those down. Hold seems pretty clear.
Yeah, hold means stop using this. Maybe it's outdated, maybe you had bad experiences, maybe the company's strategy changed. Whatever the reason, phase it out.
Got it. What about assess?
Assess is for things that look promising. They might offer significant value, but you're not sure yet. So you keep a close eye on them, maybe do some exploratory work, like a proof of concept, a POC.
Okay, dipping a toe in the water. Then trial.
Trial is the next step. You think it's probably good, but you need real-world experience. So you pick an actual project, not just a toy example, and try it out to really understand the benefits and, crucially, the trade-offs. Build some confidence.
And finally, adopt.
Adopt is the green light. You've done the trial, you've got enough experience, the benefits are clear, you understand the downsides. This is stuff you actively recommend and use, your go-to solutions.
I can see how just having that documented clearly would save teams so much time debating tech choices.
Exactly. It gives clear recommendations. It also hints at what might be coming next, what's in assess or trial.
But, like any document, how do you stop it from just gathering dust? How do you keep it alive and, well, useful?
Maintenance is absolutely critical. It's not a one-off exercise. You need a defined process to update it periodically, maybe quarterly, maybe twice a year.
Who updates it? The tag.
The tag and DAGs play a huge role. They collect feedback, discuss candidates for moving between rings, but you should also solicit input from the wider engineering community.
Makes sense.
And crucially, you need a clear process for why something moves. Moving from trial to adopt shouldn't just happen. You need to evaluate the trial results. Did it meet the success criteria you set? It needs that rigor to maintain trust.
So it's a living map, constantly refreshed based on real experience and strategic direction. For you listening, picture having that clarity, knowing what tech is recommended, what's experimental, what's being phased out. It reduces so much decision fatigue.
Definitely. It guides traces across the whole company, not just within the architecture groups.
Okay, structure via tag DAG, tech guidance via the radar. What's the third piece? How do we capture solutions to problems that keep cropping up? Avoid reinventing the wheel.
That leads perfectly to the third strategy. The architecture catalog.
An architecture catalog, so like a library of solutions.
Pretty much. It's about documenting recurring architectural patterns, explaining what they're for, and this is important, when you should use them and when you shouldn't.
Right. Avoiding misapplication is key.
Absolutely. It's about leveraging past successes, capturing that hard-won knowledge so the next team facing a similar problem doesn't have to start from scratch.
Can you give an example of what might be in a catalog?
Sure. The source material mentions the transactional outbox pattern.
Okay.
You might use that to handle, say, achieving a sort of two-phase commit in event-driven systems, making sure a database write and publishing an event happen atomically. That's a common tricky problem. So the catalog entry would explain why you'd use it, the motivation, and then provide a clear recipe for how to implement it. Maybe it even points to an internal library or a specific third-party tool that helps.
So it's really practical, not just theory, but here's how you actually do it.
Exactly. It's a practical guide for adoption.
What should a good catalog entry contain? Just the pattern name?
No, it needs more to be truly useful. A good entry would have, a clear title, a short description, definitely what problem it solves.
Okay.
Clear guidance on when to use it and when not to use it, the solution itself, obviously. And ideally, one or more example use cases to make it concrete.
Examples are always helpful.
Yeah, and maybe links to further resources too, blog posts, books, videos, internal training for people who want to really understand it deeply.
Like the radar. I'm guessing this also needs to be maintained. It can't be static.
You guessed it. Just like the radar, it needs periodic updates. Things change, better patterns emerge, old ones become less relevant.
And the tag and DAGs feed into this too.
Definitely. They're key sources for new entries and for updating existing ones. It ensures the catalog reflects the organization's current best practices and learnings. It becomes a living repository of shared architectural wisdom.
This sounds incredibly valuable for speeding things up and improving consistency. If you're a developer, imagine having this playbook you can just go to for common challenges. Huge productivity boost.
It really is. It frees people up to focus on the truly novel problems.
Okay, let's quickly recap. We've got the federated model TAG and DAG for structure and communication.
Right.
We've got the technology radar for guiding tech choices consistently. And the architecture catalog to capture and share proven solutions.
Exactly. Those three work together really well to tackle that core problem, scaling architectural guidance when you don't have architects everywhere.
So for you listening, the takeaway here is that these aren't just processes for the sake of process. They're about democratizing knowledge, providing clear guardrails, and empowering teams. It reduces that reliance on a central group having to approve everything.
It shifts the focus towards enabling teams rather than controlling them. But, the journey doesn't necessarily stop there.
Oh, what do you mean?
Well, as the source material hints. But can we do better? These structures are great, but the next level might be thinking about how we empower all developers, junior, mid, senior, to develop stronger architectural thinking skills themselves.
Embedding it even deeper, making architecture everyone's business, in a way.
Something like that. How do you build that capability right into the teams? That's maybe a topic for another time, but it's the logical next step.
Definitely something to think about. Well, this has been a really insightful look at scaling architecture. Thanks for walking us through these strategies.
My pleasure. It's a fascinating area.
And for everyone listening, thank you for joining us here at the Architecture Corner. If you want to dig deeper into the ideas we talked about, definitely check out the description for links and more info.
Yeah, good resources there.
And please do subscribe for free to the Architecture Corner newsletter to keep learning with us. You can find it at architecturecorner.substack.com.
Keep learning.
We'll catch you on the next one.